Now, when it comes to budget laptops, there are a great number of options out there that will work very well for basic requirements without breaking the bank. Now, we've tested a few of them, and here are our top picks. Now, among all the laptops under 20,000 rupees, we found the Acer Aspire 3 to offer the best balance of performance for the price. It features a slim design which we really like, and even though it's not much to look at, the plastic construction is decent and there's not a lot of flex in the lid and the keyboard area. The display can be tilted all the way back 180 degrees, thus giving you plenty of freedom to work with. This is also one of the few laptops in this segment that offers individual compartments underneath, so one can easily upgrade the RAM and hard drive. Now you get Windows 10 pre-installed along with useful apps for keeping drivers and software up to date. This is also one of the few laptops in this range to feature Intel's Pentium Silver N5000 quad-core CPU, which offers good multi-core performance compared to most of the other CPUs in this segment. You also get 4GB of RAM, a 1TB hard drive, and Wi-Fi 802.11 AC. Even in real-world tests such as file compression and video encoding, the Aspire 3 posted the lowest completion time compared to the other laptops we tested. Battery life is also decent, which can get you through most of a workday on one charge. However, it's not perfect, and the reason Acer has managed to offer such specifications at this price is by compromising a bit on the display and the speakers. The HD resolution at a 15.6-inch screen size causes the text and icons to have noticeably jaggy edges. Viewing angles are also not the best, and the brightness level could have been better. The stereo speakers fire at the bottom, and while they get loud, they do sound a little tinny. It's also one of the heaviest laptops that we tested, so it's not as portable as some of the others. Overall though, if you want a large screen and the low resolution doesn't bother you, then the Acer Aspire 3 at roughly 19,990 rupees offers the best bang for the buck. Now we've tested a bunch of eyeball laptops over the years, but the company's recent Kalmbach Netizen 4G is a very unique offering, especially at this price. The laptop has a built-in 4G SIM slot which lets you stay connected to the internet at all times, which is a very handy feature for those who travel frequently and don't want to bother with tethering your phone or using an external 4G dongle. Battery life is solid too, and with light workloads, we comfortably managed to use it for an entire workday and then some. It also has a full HD display which produces sharp images and text on the 14-inch panel. You also get 64GB of flash storage, which is better than the 32GB we're used to seeing in these small form factor laptops. Last but not least, the Kalmbach Netizen 4G also has a compartment underneath which lets you install a 2.5-inch SSD or a hard drive, thereby letting you add more storage. Now, a few areas where it lags behind the other contenders are the CPU and the build quality. The Intel Celeron N3350 used in this is quite old now and doesn't really offer very good single or even multi-core performance. As a result, tasks such as file compression or even video encoding takes a lot longer. Then there's the build and design of the laptop itself. The plastic body doesn't feel very sturdy and it doesn't exactly give a very premium vibe. Now, we understand that the latter is tough to get, especially when you're paying just a roughly 16,990 rupees, but there are other manufacturers that do have premium looking laptops in this range, so we feel Eyeball could have upped their game a little bit in this department. Now that's not all. If you're still looking for more options, here are some of the other laptops that didn't quite make the top spot but could be worth checking out. The Asus VivoBook X540 MA is based on the Intel Celeron N4000 CPU and comes with 4GB of RAM and a 500GB hard drive. It has a decent selection of USB ports, although all of them are placed on one side pretty close to each other, so if your USB device has a fatter than usual plug, it could block some of the neighboring ports. Now you do get a DVD drive in this model, which is useful if you still take physical backups. The laptop is a little bulky though, and the plastics and color scheme give it a slightly cheap look. Performance is also a little sluggish, the HD display has slightly weak viewing angles, and there's noticeable flex on the keyboard. Unfortunately, battery life is also below average, especially when you're paying nearly 19,000 rupees. Now there's something very likable about the E203N from Asus. Priced at around 14,990 rupees, it's based on a slightly older Intel Celeron N3350 CPU, but the compact size is what would appeal to most people. It's slim, light, and even has a USB Type-C port, which is a rare find here. The 11.6-inch display isn't very big, but at least the low HD resolution isn't much of an eyesore at this size. Our biggest problem with the E203N is the amount of storage you get. Even though it has just 2GB of DDR3 RAM, Windows runs fairly well thanks to the flash memory, but the 32 GB is not enough for Windows and your applications. Now, we weren't able to complete many of our tests too because we kept running out of space. If you're going to be using mostly web apps or do your work in a browser, then this shouldn't be a big problem. It does have a micro SD card slot, so you can expand the storage for keeping your files if needed. The Eyeball Kalmbach Premium version 2 also features a relatively strong Intel Pentium N4200 CPU and comes with 4 GB of RAM. It's light, portable, ships with Windows 10 and offers good battery life. However, it doesn't quite make the cut for the best laptop in this segment, since at nearly 19,990 rupees, the 32 GB of onboard flash storage is simply too little for all your apps and files. In our full review, we also noticed that the plastic body isn't very sturdy as it bends and flexes very easily. Also, the display panel isn't very good, which gives all your content a washed out look. Now, on the bright side, the battery life is solid as it easily lasts for a workday on a single charge with some time to spare. Now, even though this laptop is priced close to 20,000 rupees, you can find it for a couple of thousand rupees less online. The Eyeball Kalmbach Marvel 6 is priced at roughly 16,000 rupees, although you can find this closer to 12,000 online. And for this money, you get a decent Full HD 14-inch display, 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage. Now, the storage is a little on the lower side, which could be an issue if you store lots of files locally. The CPU is good enough for basic tasks though, but it's still a bit weak compared to the rest of the laptops we tested. Once again, the body and trackpad aren't the sturdiest, but it does have a compartment underneath for adding another hard drive. Just like the Kalmbach Premium, battery life is also very good. So these were some of our picks of what we thought were some of the best laptops under 20,000 rupees in India right now. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.